Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Warriors are being encouraged to sign a young and excellent player in Benedict Mathurin from the Indiana Pacers. The Golden State Warriors recently squashed their summer-long stalemate with incoming fifth-year combo forward Jonathan Kuminga, but his reported agreement to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract with the franchise will not mark the end of their continued saga. Golden State's general manager Mike Dunleavy's work is far from over on the Kuminga front, and Dunleavy's next course of action will be to locate a potential trade destination for the explosive wing. If Dunleavy were to scour the market for a possible partner in a deal, it's plausible to believe that the Indiana Pacers could be a fantastic match. Kuminga's incredible athleticism and two-way potential might interest the Pacers front office, and the Warriors could seek a few young impact players to assist their aging core of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. A hypothetical trade framework that might satisfy both parties could see Kuminga head to the Pacers in exchange for Indiana's impressive wing Benedict Mathurin along with Jarace Walker and Ben Shepherd. By prospectively completing this deal, Golden State would land a more versatile scorer in Mathurin and two promising prospects who have displayed past three-point shooting ability. On the other side of the agreement, Indiana would bring in a player that fits their run-and-gun, high-flying, fast-breaking game plan to a T. In 72 appearances for the Pacers in the 2024-25 regular season, Mathurin contributed career highs of 16.1 points and 5.3 rebounds. Indiana's former number 6 overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft also authored a few signature performances for his team throughout the 2025 NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Mathurin's 27-point outburst in Game 3 of the Finals led the Pacers to a 116-107 victory on their home floor to take a 2-1 series lead over the Thunder before Oklahoma City would eventually storm back to win the championship in 7 games. After gaining invaluable postseason and NBA Finals experience in 2024-25, Mathurin's hunger to raise the Larry O'Brien Trophy could be exactly what the Warriors need to assert themselves as true contenders in a loaded Western Conference. Warriors signed 21-year-old forward a part of historic 7-team offseason trade. While a standard NBA contract allows players to feel comfortable with an organization, a two-way contract isn't the end of the world for aspiring high-impact contributors. Developing in the G League while getting several opportunities to make an impact with the big dogs undoubtedly makes the deal a win-win. A 21-year-old forward who was a part of the historic 7-team offseason trade featuring Kevin Durant recently inked a two-way deal with the Golden State Warriors ahead of his rookie season. The Golden State Warriors have signed forward Alex Tui to a two-way contract, the organization stated in a Monday afternoon news release. Tui appeared in 30 games last season with the Sydney Kings of Australia's National Basketball League, NBL, averaging 10.5 points, 3.9 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 1.5 steals per game en route to earning the 2024-25 NBL Next Generation Award. A native of Canberra, Australia, he trained at the NBA Global Academy and was selected to the 2023 Nike Hoop Summit World Team. Originally selected by the Phoenix Suns with the 52nd overall pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the 6'8" forward was acquired by Golden State as part of the league's first-ever 7-team trade on July 6, 2025. Tui competed in 6 Summer League contests with the Warriors after initially joining the organization in mid-July, averaging 6.8 points and 3.8 rebounds per game while shooting below 30% from the field and from three-point range. Still, Tui's defensive versatility at 6'8" combined with his ability to play high IQ basketball with or without the ball should help him avoid becoming a liability in the pros. His spot-up shooting and physicality must improve for him to reach his full potential, though. Tui should expect to spend the majority of the 2025-26 season with the Santa Cruz Warriors, G League, and make his fair share of appearances with the Stephen Curry-led Dubs when the time is right. Warriors 6'5" NBA champion predicted to shine next to Stephen Curry in 2025-26. The Golden State Warriors core of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green will attempt to lead the franchise to its 8th NBA championship victory in 2025-26, but the aging trio must receive a boost of energy from a few youthful teammates along the way. While their rising combo forward Jonathan Kuminga stole the show this past summer thanks to a seemingly never-ending restricted free agency stalemate, the Warriors' former number 14 overall pick in the 2021 NBA Draft and 2022 NBA champion Moses Moody has a chance to steal back some of the spotlight this season. The 23-year-old forward struggled to stick in the Warriors' rotation at a consistent rate until the latter part of the 2024-25 campaign, but a recent update has indicated that the versatile wing could be ready to assert himself as an integral piece of potential title contender in Golden State. A point of emphasis offensively for Moody is to be the pick-and-roll guy more, as in the one setting the screen to play out of the pocket and swing the ball or hit open shots, NBC Sports' Dalton Johnson wrote Sunday. The Warriors are looking for more offensive versatility out of someone they believe can contribute at multiple positions, which brings us to our next point. Point of attack is the name of the game for the Warriors' defense, knowing the back is well protected between Butler, Green and Al Horford. He had 18 games of multiple steals last season, and 14 came after the Butler trade. He slots into the 2, 3, and 4, and seems to have found his best role. The former lottery pick has plenty of work to do if he wants to separate himself from the rest of the Warriors' key bench contributors, but he certainly has plenty of natural abilities that mesh well with the team's top-end talent. For one, Moody is an active and competitive defender who can space the floor on the other side of the ball, as evidenced by his 0.8 steals figure and 37.4% shooting clip from three-point range last season, both career-best marks. Additionally, the incoming fifth-year forward has displayed clear athletic gifts and an undying motor. If the Warriors need consistent defense from their wings, Moody's name could be the next one called upon to guard an opposing team's best forward if Butler is unavailable. In 74 total appearances for Golden State in 2024-25, Moody contributed 9.8 points and 2.6 rebounds with a 114 defensive rating per 100 possessions in 22.3 minutes of action, but he'll be aiming to increase those figures and partially lead the team to another NBA title this year. Steve Kerr's new lineup suggestion could finally unlock Jonathan Kuminga. The Golden State Warriors had a long negotiation process with Jonathan Kuminga, spanning several months, but eventually settled on a 2-year, $48.5 million deal with a team option for the second season. Avoiding the qualifying offer was major for Golden State to avoid losing him for nothing, but now the team has to find a way to utilize their fourth highest paid player. The Warriors seem to have found a spot for him after Steph Curry went down with a hamstring injury in the postseason, leading to Kuminga scoring 26.3 points per game in the final 3 games of Golden State's season. Now, with some new additions to the roster, Steve Kerr's recent lineup suggestion could be the key to unlocking the young forward. Steve Kerr suggests lineup pairing to play to Kuminga's strengths. Speaking during training camp this week, Kerr told reporters that there's one two-man combo that sticks out to him when looking who to pair alongside new signing Al Horford. Maybe Al Horford and Jonathan Kuminga, Kerr said Friday, according to NBC Sports Bay Area. You know, I think that's a two-man combo that could make some sense. Kerr didn't stop there, adding some context as to why he thinks the two could work well together on the court. With JK, we want to give him space when he's got the ball. Al can do that. So, if JK's at the 4, AL's at the 5, and we put shooters around those guys, that could be an interesting combination. Why this makes sense for Golden State? Outside of Quinton Post's late-season surge last year as a stretch 5, Golden State really hasn't had a true floor spacer at the center position in the Steve Kerr era. Given that Kuminga has made less than 1 3 per game on average throughout his career and has shot 31.3% over the last 2 seasons, Golden State has been at a disadvantage when playing him next to a traditional big. Therefore, putting Kuminga in a lineup where he's the only non-shooter could be the ideal situation for him to be able to play to his strengths as a slasher. That lineup could look something like Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Kuminga, and Horford. In that situation, you have 4 shooters surrounding Kuminga, opening up the paint for him, where he converted 73.6% of his attempts from within 3 feet a season ago. This will all take some time to figure out, but the addition of Horford will be beneficial not only for Kuminga but for other players like Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, who are inconsistent shooters as well. Steve Kerr comes to Al Horford realization Warriors fans have known for months. Horford could be massive for Jonathan Kuminga. The Golden State Warriors will take to the floor for the first time in preseason against the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday, potentially giving fans their first look at the impact of free agency acquisition Al Horford. The veteran center is bound to be a positive influence for the Warriors on their quest for another championship, but there's one player in particular who could benefit most from Horford's arrival. Steve Kerr is excited to see the Al Horford and Jonathan Kuminga pairing. Jonathan Kuminga has never really had the opportunity to play alongside a quality, starting caliber stretch 5 through his first 4 years in the league. Even when rookie center Quinton Post emerged as a surprise rotation piece in the second half of last season, Kuminga was largely on the sidelines, having missed 30 games with an ankle injury. From almost the moment Horford was first linked to Golden State over 3 months ago, fans have pondered his potential impact on Kuminga, who can be a destructive downhill presence with an open floor. Steve Kerr has also come to that realization, listing the Horford-Kuminga tandem as the two-man combination he's most excited to see when it comes to the 39-year-old's early impact on the team. With JK, we want to give him space when he's got the ball. Al can do that. So, if JK's at the 4, AL's at the 5 and we put shooters around those guys, that could be an interesting combination, Kerr said. Horford's ability to spot up in the corner or anywhere beyond the arc could make Kuminga's driving an even scarier proposition for opposing defenses, something that could be key to the 22-year-old's fit on the team early in the season and whether the Warriors subsequently look to trade him once eligible on January 15. How Kerr goes about managing his rotation so Horford and Kuminga play significant minutes together will be fascinating, particularly if he's not willing to start a big lineup that could feature both alongside Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Horford is the assumed starting center entering the season and is expected to average around 25 minutes per game, but Kuminga's role remains far more uncertain despite now being the 5th highest paid player on the team. If Kerr can find better lineups to put around Kuminga, and the former 7th overall pick can also improve in specific elements the coaching staff have long been after, then that would go a long way to him finding a consistent role. Horford might be the means to making that happen and potentially saving his young teammate's career at the franchise. Stephen Curry ruined Warriors' future plans for unusual reason, according to NBA writer. Throughout the brunt of his, soon-to-be, 17-year NBA tenure with the Golden State Warriors, four-time NBA champion Stephen Curry has successfully positioned the franchise to compete for titles year in and year out. Even as he marches forward towards the twilight of his career, the legendary 37-year-old point guard continues to lead a competitive Warriors squad, but the organization would be lying if they claimed this was all a part of the plan despite height concerns and early injury misfortune. Curry's extended dominance and remarkable longevity did help Golden State to become one of the most dominant sports teams of the past decade. However, one NBA writer has pointed out that his long and illustrious career played a massive part in wrecking an infamous team-building strategy concocted by the Warriors front office. Somewhere in the far fringes of the multiverse, the young, upstart Golden State Warriors are just starting to hit their stride, CBS Sports' Colin Ward-Henninger wrote Friday afternoon. The words themselves are now a Rodney Dangerfield-worthy punchline, but, to be honest, the two-timeline strategy actually could have worked. Back in our universe, however, none of that is possible. And that's due to one reason and one reason only, Wardell Stephen Curry too. By age 37, Curry was supposed to be riding off into the sunset on his farewell tour. He'd almost certainly still be a Warrior, but his warlock powers would be wearing thin as he graciously ceded the spotlight to the youthful rising core. Yet here we are, in 2025, and every move Golden State has made over the past few years has been in service of Curry, who's still one of the handful of NBA superstars capable of being the best player on a championship team. Though the destruction of Golden State's fabled two-timeline system led to the team hoisting the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the 7th time in franchise history back in 2022, Curry is still technically responsible for wiping out an entire era of Warriors basketball. Thankfully, it ended up being for good reason. After acquiring ex-Miami Heat superstar Jimmy Butler at last season's trade deadline and bringing in a few solid veteran reserves this past summer, the Warriors are once again set up to make a valiant effort at competing in a loaded Western Conference. Still, it's easy to wonder how the Warriors' 2025-26 roster iteration could have looked if the organization deemed it time to move on from their greatest player in franchise history a few years back. Moving back to this universe, Curry will aim to prove that he can still spearhead a competitive squad with real title aspirations after a 2024-25 campaign where the future Hall of Famer averaged 24.5 points and 6.0 assists on a stellar 61.8% true shooting percentage and nabbed his 11th career All-Star nod.